Hey, Plant Pals, Mike the Cater Gardener, and it's just a quick cooking video. And my wife, she wanted for our treat day. It's Friday today, and she wanted for the treat day, tomorrow, she wanted meatloaf, and she thinks meatloaf is best the next day. You keep it, you cook it day one, and then you put it in the fridge, and then you cut off a slice of it, and then you reheat it day two. And she thinks it's better, and I agree because the flavors do meld, but I do always like to steal a slice or so when it's fresh hot out of the oven. But I do agree it does have the better texture and taste the next day. Kind of like chili. Chili is always better the next day. And because it's a treat day, we're not going to go full low carb because we're going to have some breadcrumbs in it for the flavor. But I'm going to grind up some chicharrones into a powder to act like the breadcrumbs. Because you need filler with meatloaf. You can't just take meat. See, this is hamburger, and this is pork. So you can do, if you want a really good meatloaf, mix hamburger, pork, and lamb. It's super delicious, but I didn't feel like spending the money for lamb, ground lamb, so this will do. It's gonna make a small meatloaf. If you want a big meatloaf, you're gonna have to like double the hamburger, and you can still keep the same amount of fat because it just adds moisture. That's the whole point of having the sausage in there, is it's gonna add moisture to your meatloaf. Some people like dry meatloaf. I do not. I like my meatloaf to be moist. So then, like, you see, I got all things together. I got salt, the ketchup. The ketchup is for the top. I don't mix the ketchup in there because what I'm gonna do is I got chopped these onions and peppers, and then I've got frozen onion peppers. I'm gonna throw those into the blender with well, first I'll do when the blender is clean. I'm gonna grind up the chicharrones, and to also as a binder filler, I got the chickpeas. I got my garlic. I got the little bit of barbecue sauce to go in it. I got the hot sauce that's going to go for the topping. And a little bit of Worcestershire sauce is going to go in it, again with the frozen. And then for the top, I like to use honey. So a really good meatloaf topping is you take honey and ketchup and ground cumin, and that makes that delicious glazed top for the top of the meatloaf. And of course, I got my Renaissance Grandma's blessed hot cha-cha seasoning. That's going to go in everything. Of course, I got pepper. Okay. Oops, I need to grab like 2 eggs. I got to grab 2 eggs out of the fridge. So yeah, that's what goes into my meatloaf. It's a pretty classic standard meatloaf. Again, the only difference is I'm using the chicharrones and the garbanzo beans as a binder. But it turns out you don't know the difference. It's awesome. Tastes delicious, and you have the little bit of breadcrumbs to give you that good flavor. All right, I'm gonna get everything going. I gotta grab the eggs. I gotta grab the blender. I forgot to take the blender out. So yeah, I will be back. All right, I got them in the blender. Gonna give it a pulse. I won't go you the noise. Just like a couple more pulses, and then I'm gonna put that in a big bowl, and I'm gonna get the peppers and stuff blended up. I'll be back. So that's what they look like when they're ground up. And then in the sink right here, I've got the garbanzo beans drained. Fun tip is if you're on, you can't tolerate eggs or you're on keto, you can whip the juice from the can. It's called aquafaba, and you can make it all kinds of stuff. So if you Google aquafaba and recipes, you will enter a whole new world of cool things you can make with it. It's pretty cool. It's a great binder. All right, got my shadow light. I'll be back. After you cut up your peppers, don't forget to save the seeds. Put them in the ground, grow them. Cool tip is the seeds and the ribs are where the heat is. If you take them out, you get the flavor, you get zero heat. And the reason why I'm doing this because I don't like my meatloaf hot. Now my beef stew has got like 3 habaneros in it, and so it's hot. But not to me, but to somebody else would be hot. But again, you want that nice, delicious, grassy taste. Take out the seeds and the ribs, and you'll enjoy the flavor over the heat. All right, so I got all the veggies and stuff blended up. Again, because it's meatloaf, I want a fine texture. I don't like big chunks of stuff in my meatloaf. And so I'm doing my chopping. So I've got the hamburger ready to go, and the sausage ready to go into the bowl. So I only put a few breadcrumbs in here, so this is pretty much, it's going to be really low carbs. I had enough of the chicharrones where I didn't need a ton of breadcrumbs, but they're like seasoned Italian breadcrumbs, and that's another key thing. Don't use plain breadcrumbs when you're cooking, because they'll taste like nothing. Make sure you have some seasoned breadcrumbs. I like to, if I'm being real fancy, I'll use like the Pepperidge Farm seasoned breadcrumbs and grind those up and stuff. It's really delicious. All right, this right here, that's what's going to be, I'm going to brush on the top. And tip is, don't brush this on when the meatloaf is raw, because it'll just run off. The heat will make it just run off, and it won't stick, and it's not as tasty. So what I like to do is, I like to cook the meatloaf for like 20 minutes, so the top gets set, so you get that nice crust on the outside, and then you brush this on, and you let it cook. And that's pretty much it. So it's a real simple recipe. So I'm gonna, oops, I got to get my oven going. I like to cook it pretty high. I got my oven, so my oven is like 40 or 50 degrees like off. And they came in, they supposedly repaired it, it didn't work. But so I got it set to like 4, you can see it's like 450, and it actually cooks at like 375 to 400. So that's just whatever. And yeah, so I'm gonna put the meat into the bowl with the dry stuff and the blended veggies, mix it all up, and then I'm gonna form it into a patty on my my cooking rack. Oops, got to turn the vent on too. Let the gas out, and I'll be back. I'll show you. I like to, it's on a wire rack. I put tin foil over a shallow baking dish, baking sheet rather, like a quarter sheet. It's got a lip on it, and I put a line down the middle of it, because much like a hamburger, it'll puff up, and the line down the middle of it, let's make it puff up, it'll be even. And I shape it kind of like a football, because these ends are the well done bits. That's what my wife likes. I like mine, in the middle part. So she's got a couple ends she can get off, and the ends get the crunchiness on it. So yeah, so I'm gonna put this in the oven, and probably take like an hour to cook. But like I said, in 20 minutes I'll put the glazing on top, the honey, cumin, ketchup, hot sauce glaze, and it'll be delicious. I'll show you that when it happens. So as the meatloaf was cooking for an hour, I like to multitask, and I like to cook my meals ahead for the week. So I'm multitasking, so I'm making beef stew. So I'm going to chop up all this beef. Got some broccoli florets. Unfortunately, all the broccoli from my garden is gone. I ate it up. It was so good. Put some jalapenos. I already got other peppers in there. I just got to chop these up. These are my 3 habaneros. I'm going to just set in there, and they'll release their flavor. And I always eat them. So they always taste good to me. I was just eating them with as a tasty bit. It's a little extra seasoning to round it out, because like I said, it's winter time here and I'm running out of stuff. I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff growing so I don't have to. Some more broccoli and some mushrooms. And then here's all the other peppers that are already chopped up and in the pot with some broth, well, beef stock that I cooked. So yeah, so that'll be a delicious meal. I'm not going to show it as far as like the end results. I already recorded one. It's going to go up like Sunday or whatever. That's just pretty much the exact same thing, the finished product, except for I melted the broccoli, so there was no broccoli left. It just all like melted into the dish, but it was still delicious. But yeah, I'm not going to bore you with showing the exact same meal over and over again. So anyway, I just figured I'd just show it quick that I'm making the meatloaf in the oven and the broccoli stew for the rest of the week. So when I get hungry, I'll just have myself a bowl of stew. Alright, top is set. I'm going to brush on the glaze and let it finish cooking for probably another hour. Oops. forgot to show the glaze. Anyway, I just press the glaze on, and it will be cooking until it's done. And in case you're wondering, in the blender it looked like there was a lot of liquid, but as you can see, it's been baking for a little bit now because I sat down and forgot to get back up. It's been like 30 minutes instead of the 20, but there's no liquid running out of it. So all the juiciness from the veggies and the eggs and everything, and it's staying in the meatloaf. I had to take my phone away for a second. The phone was yelling at me it was too hot because I was standing over the oven door with it. Makes sense. All right, because I know somebody's going to ask about it. This is how my beef stew turned out. And you can see, I cooked it under pressure for less time so that the broccoli and the peppers didn't disintegrate like last time. It was still good, delicious last time, but I actually like hunks of broccoli in my stew. All right, so this is the end result. And as I promised, the middle part poofed out. Instead of being a weird dome, it's flat. So I cooked it longer than I was gonna do, but so it's got the nice crunchy bits. My wife likes those. But yeah, looks tasty. I'll cut myself a little slice. So that's what it looks on the inside. Here it is on the plate. I grab myself a fork. I'm gonna enjoy. Delicious.